This basement is one of the transformations with this rental that I'm most excited about because it was kind of just wasted space.
And all of the finishes had kind of been destroyed. We had a renter in here for about 5 years, and he really trashed the house while he was here.
This was the first property we ever bought, and me and my husband used to live in this house many, many years ago. And when we had bought it, there was some paneling on the walls, but it wasn't all the way finished. So the paneling was janky, like it was at different heights. So we had to go ahead and add trim at the ceiling. I didn't want to take things out that weren't necessary to take out. And so what I did was I left the existing paneling, and the areas that didn't have paneling, I had drywall added, and I had drywallers do the ceiling. And then we trimmed it out to bridge the gap between the paneling and the ceiling and the paneling and the floor. And so we saved the paneling, we drywalled the ceilings, we drywalled the walls. By we, I mean drywall company, because they're much faster than me. I replaced this window. It was a pretty rough old aluminum style window, and it was in pretty bad shape. There was a half bathroom, which we turned into a full bathroom. This closet right here is the water heater and the furnace. So we added accordion doors there, and then we did some vents on the side to get airflow allowed in there. And then one of the biggest transformations for this space is the stairs coming down. So when you come down the stairs, there was a wall and a really, really skinny doorway or opening, but there would have been no way, now that this is finished, say somebody wants to use it as a bedroom or a family room or whatever use they're gonna use it for, there would have been not a lot of way to get anything down here. So I moved the location of the light switch and the wiring from that wall over, and I opened that up so it's easier to get furniture here, and it opens it up and makes it not feel quite as basement-y either. And then of course, taking the bathroom from a half bath to a full bath. One, now we have 2 full bathrooms in this house, which is a huge improvement. And 2, it's just not a creepy bathroom anymore. So let's go check out the bathroom.
Basically what we did with this bathroom was remove this wall and just pull it out as much as we needed to be able to add a full tub. Now, this is normally not a layout that I would pick for a bathroom, but when you're retrofitting a space, you want to move as little plumbing as possible because it's going to cost you more money to move your plumbing more. In this case, this is a basement on a slab, so I had a plumber come and jackhammer out the space we needed and add the tub plumbing. We went ahead and we had to get creative with this tub. So we did a tub with 2 finished edges. Normally a tub goes in like an alcove, but we had a finished front and a finished back side so that we had kind of better flow to the space. And then I did a ceiling mount corner kind of curtain rod.
It seems like a super small thing, but one thing we did, just this stairway to the basement felt very basement-y. So first of all, it wasn't finished. It had studs and one light down there at the basement landing, but no other lighting, and it wasn't drywalled. So of course we drywalled it, we painted it, but then we added a light. You can see that light there. And then down at the bottom, you can see where the light is shining. There's one more down there. So it just brightened it up and made it not feel quite so basement-y. One budget decision I did decide to make was the stairs. So the stairs in the living room that are visible going to the upper level, it's right when you walk in, we did really nice red oak stair treads. I didn't want to carpet these stairs because first of all, everyone destroys carpet. And second of all, they would be the only place in the house with carpet, so it would be kind of weird. But I didn't want to buy the nice quality oak stair treads. Those are like 40 bucks a piece. And then on top of that, you can get the caps for the treads that match this flooring, but those are even more expensive. And I've heard they're pretty slippery. And so for this, I just decided on this one. What I did was I got a good quality floor paint, and we got a nice gray color, and we painted these stairs going downstairs. Between the next tenant, if we decide we want to replace them or replace the treads, we can definitely look into that. But it looks pretty nice, and it was a budget-friendly option. We cleaned them up, we got the staples off, we filled in the damage, and it actually looks pretty decent. So that's where we saved a few bucks on the basement, was painting the stairs versus treading them or replacing the treads.
For the living room, obviously we had to remove the carpet. It was absolutely destroyed and it just reeked of dog urine. So I had to kill the floor to lock in any odors before we were able to do new flooring. So I did luxury vinyl plank on the floor in the living room. I redid the staircase with red oak stair treads. And the biggest thing we did in the living room was I added overhead lighting. These houses were built with a light switch to an outlet, so you have to use a lamp. And so that's just super annoying. So I added some lighting, and I actually didn't have time to add the railing. I was going out of town, so somebody added the handrail for me. And we, of course, painted this whole room.
I've already shared the full kitchen transformation with you guys, and I'll link that video below if you want to go take a look at that. But just to refresh your mind, we painted the cabinets. They were a different color. The countertops were laminate and they were damaged, so we did an epoxy countertop with a faux stone look, which I love how it turned out. I took out the sink, I put the sink back in. Oh, I did the backsplash. There was a backsplash that came up like 4 to 6 inches. So we took that off and did a full backsplash. I really think that added a little bit of design to this space. And then we kept the same appliances because I know they don't match, but they were all working, they were fine. And so painted cabinets, countertops, backsplash. We put the sink back in, but I did replace the sink faucet because that was damaged. The garbage disposal was broken, so we replaced that. And we replaced this light in the dining room, so I'll show you that too.
So here's how the kitchen looked when the renter turned it back over to us. Sorry for the direction of the video. Apparently I took this vertical on my cell phone, but just an idea of what we started with. And here is how it looked after our transformation. In the existing bathroom, we had to replace the vanity because the sink broke. We also changed the vanity light. We had to paint the walls and deep clean the bathroom. And then we had to replace the drain and we had to replace the spout in the tub because those were all broken. Here's the laundry room before and after. The primary bedroom had damaged carpet and some pretty big drywall holes. Looked like maybe someone kicked a hole in this wall and then started to attempt to patch it. So we had to repaint the whole house, but the bedrooms had to be repainted. We did luxury vinyl plank. I had to do the drywall repair on the wall in this room. We added lighting in all the upstairs bedrooms instead of lamps, and of course replaced all the blinds. So here's the primary bedroom after. So here's the hallway and the second bedroom before and after. Of course, we had to do all new flooring. So we did new trim, we had to do new paint, new lighting, new blinds. And bedroom 2 is actually the smaller of the 3 bedrooms. Bedroom 3 was the space in the home that had been left in the best condition. We did go ahead and replace the blinds, we added the lighting, had to replace the flooring, and of course we painted this room as well. And then honestly, the renter just straight up Jumanji'd the backyard. So here's what it looked like when he moved out. And then my friend has a landscaping business, so he came in, trashed out the backyard for me. I'm sure some of you are thinking, yeah, well, that's all well and good, but what did it look like when the tenant moved in? So I'm going to share some photos of what it looked like when we handed it over to the tenant. Now, it definitely wasn't fixed up and fancy like it is now, but it was in nice, clean condition. And so I'm gonna leave you with how we handed it over to the tenant and how it looks now. As always, I just want to make sure to share with you guys that stay to the end of the video, that are joining me in this journey on all these properties and all this hard work. I just super appreciate you guys being here. I put a lot of time into this channel, but it only works if you guys watch the videos. So I appreciate each and every one of you more than you could ever know. Thanks for being here.